For the record, I make this transparent all the time. My mum and sister are nurses. One's an auxiliary nurse, one's a staff nurse, and I personally want them to earn as much money as possible. But I'm really quite torn on this because, to your point, Kevin, what you're saying, and I get it because it's the human response. I mean, if you said to me, Michelle, do you want your mum and your sister to earn almost 20% more? Of course, I'm going to say, yeah, they're my mum, their sister, they do a great job for the NHS, absolutely. But that school of thought, if everyone gets everything that they've asked for, what does that do to the country's finances? So just to give you an example, currently, the peer review body, the independent peer review body, they've awarded, I think it's £1,400, which works out, it depends what your earnings are, but it is about 5%-ish for some people, obviously more for the lower earners. Every additional 1% on top of this, so every additional 1% on this, let's just use it in the middle, say 5%, is going to cost around £700 million per year. That's according to government statistics. You know, I've got to say, I am smart, but I'm not quick enough to be able to calculate all these different multiples. But 700 million for 1% extra. If you work out all the different unions and what they're all asking, where do you find that money?
Well, Michelle, you probably know me a wee bit now, and you know, I'm a left winger, and of course, I'm going to say a certain point. You know, if you take a wee pie chart and you look at all the wealth in Britain, and you draw a wee, two wee lines about what most workers get in terms of the public sector, and any workers for that matter, my point is that the total of that wealth is a fraction of the overall wealth of this country. So what you have is vast inequality. What makes me smile about this country is the narrative of the politicians of this government themselves is about equality and fairness, when it's so unequal. Now, this is a cheap shot, but it's not really. It's hard to take somebody like Rishi Sunak seriously, sitting on £800 million fortune or whatever. I repeat, what these workers are asking for is not revolutionary.
Right, so let me put this
Michelle,
to you.
I just want to come to this point. There is a choice to be made. And if you're a right-winger and you believe in the free market and all the rest of it, you may come to a position where you go, no, well, if you don't like it, lump it, go and do somewhere else. What I'm arguing for is that, of course, growth is a great thing. We want growth in the economy, but the wealth and resources that exist in this country need to be redistributed in a fair manner. And can I squeeze this point in?
Go on then, quick
It's about the NHS. The NHS is dissolving before our eyes. It's even counterproductive for this government not to give ambulance workers and nurses the money that they're looking for, because last year, am I right, there's 46,000 vacancies required in terms of nurses.
And
there's 300,000 nurses that work, and last year was the worst ever for the amount of people that left nursing and also as paramedics. And my point is, see, if you don't address this problem now and give these people a decent wage, they're going to walk away, and the problems that you have in the NHS are going to get so much more worse. So we have to ask a more fundamental question beyond the debate about the strikes. Do we have a commitment to the NHS? Yes or no?